Imagine this. You're a highly skilled engineer on an H-1B visa. On Friday, your manager calls and says, "Hey, we're restructuring. Today is your last day." And if you're on an H-1B visa, you are now in your 60-day grace period and the clock starts ticking. You have 60 days to find a new job. You have 60 days for your new employer to file your H-1B transfer, or you're going to have to pack your bags and leave the US, most likely. That's how fragile your status can be. But in this video, I'm going to break down the visa restrictions that every engineer needs to understand. And I'll show you how some engineers are using a different path, like the EB-1A visa, to get out of the constant fear and instability. If you're a software engineer, data scientist, or STEM professional in the US, this video is for you. My name is Priya Alagiri. I founded the Alagiri immigration law firm. My team and I focus on helping engineers secure their green cards through the EB-1A visa extraordinary ability category. But first, let's start with the golden handcuffs most engineers don't see until it's too late. On paper, the H-1B looks great. Take it from me. I've done hundreds and hundreds of H-1B visa applications. But here's the reality check. With the H-1B visa one, you are tied to your employer. Changing jobs isn't as simple as just quitting. It requires a new employer to file a new transfer application for you. Second, you can't have a side hustle. You can't freelance, you can't consult, you can't launch a startup, because most likely it would conflict with your H-1B visa status. Third, there is a time cap on your H-1B visa. You have a strict 6-year limit unless you have an approved I-140. And even if you have an approved on I-140, chances are it's going to take many, many years of H-1B visa renewals until you actually get your green card. And then finally, with the H-1B visa, you don't have control. Your ability to stay, live, work in the US depends on your boss. And that's why we call them the golden handcuffs. You may be paid well, but you aren't actually free to do what you want. This is the big fear, that 60-day grace period trap. If you lose your H-1B job, let's say you were laid off, you were terminated, or you needed to resign for whatever reason, you have 60 days to find a new sponsor. Think about those logistics. You have to run around, interview, negotiate an offer. Let's say you accept an offer, then you have to go through the whole H-1B transfer process, and hopefully that goes through seamlessly with no RFEs. And all of that has to happen within this tiny little window. If you have family here, the pressure is immense. And that is why relying solely on an H-1B visa is like balancing on a tightrope without a safety net. Okay, but many of you think, that's okay. My company is sponsoring my green card. But be careful. Most engineers fall into the EB2 or EB3 visa categories. And for many countries like India, that backlog is years long, and that's being generous. During that wait, you're still within the control of your employer. They file the perm, they choose a job description, Um, and if they lay off employees or change their policy, your application could be in jeopardy. You're effectively stuck. What's the solution? This brings us to the model that we focus on here at my law firm, and it's the EB-1A visa green card. The biggest advantage is control. It's a self-petition. You do not need an employer to sponsor you. You could file this yourself. There's no perm, so you skip that whole labor certification process entirely, saving you years. And finally, freedom. You are not stuck waiting for your employer to decide and plan out your future in the US. For qualifying engineers, the EB-1A visa is the fastest way to break free from visa restrictions and secure permanent residency in the US on your own terms. Extraordinary ability sounds scary, right? It sounds like too high a bar to me. But let's translate that into engineering terms. If you're an engineer, this is what the Immigration Service is looking for. For example, original contributions. Have you built a new solution, system, a new methodology, and that is being used? Critical role. Are you a lead engineer or are you essential to your company's success? High salary. Do you earn significantly more than the average engineer in your domain? And judging. Have you conducted evaluations of others? Have you judged hackathons? Many engineers meet the EB-1A visa criteria without even realizing it. Inventory your career. List your accomplishments, papers, projects, awards, salary, things like that. Identify your gaps. Identify your strongest accomplishments. And then finally, speak to a professional to see if you have a viable case. H-1B restrictions are risky, and traditional green card paths are slow. The EB-1A offers a path to control and stability. If you want to know if you qualify for the EB-1A visa, click the link in the description and contact our law firm. We focus on helping engineers just like you navigate this process. And as always, subscribe for more insights. Thank you for watching.